All right, so it is 10 o'clock, so I'll go ahead and begin the conference. Good morning and welcome to the pre-bid conference for ITB 77 FY23 for the Campbell Elementary School Kitchen Entry Addition and Renovation Project. I am Brandon Christian, the Senior Procurement Specialist for Arlington Public Schools. During the conference, I will be reviewing the ITB and highlighting those areas which are considered to be of interest. Also representing APS today during the conference are Audrey Robertson, the Manager of Facilities and Operation, and will be the APS Project Manager. We also have Benaz Nozari from Horde Copeland Mach, the Architect of Record. Following the conference, bidders have the opportunity to visit the Campbell Elementary site. Bidders interested in doing so are required to contact Audrey Robertson to make arrangements. Excuse me. Audrey's contact details can be found in the ITB. The site visit is scheduled to start at 11:30 a.m. More information can be found in the ITB and will be addressed later during the conference. Questions are welcome during the conference and will need to be submitted in writing through the chat capability. Questions will be addressed at the end of the conference. The conference is being recorded and a copy will be posted on the current solicitations page of the Procurement Office website. It needs to be emphasized that it is the responsibility of the bidders to make themselves familiar with the requirements of the project and that bids are submitted in accordance with the bid documents. Currently on the screen is the ITB 77 FY23. This version is the same that is uploaded in EVA and also uploaded on APS current solicitations webpage. I will be scrolling through, so please bear with me as I am reviewing the contract. The initial page is the invitation page, giving details about the contract, giving details about the ITB. We do have the title and the ITB number. The invitation to bid was posted on December the 7th. Please take note of the bid closing date and time, which is January 13th, 2023, no later than 11:59 p.m. The bid opening will be held on January 17th, 2023 at 10 a.m. The local prevailing time will be Eastern Standard Time. And also below is my contact information. At any time, if you have questions about the contract or your bids, please go ahead and reach out to me and I will respond accordingly. Again, this project is for the Campbell Elementary School Kitchen and Entry Addition and Renovation. Listed here is also the address. Again, there's more details about the bid closing and it will be stated throughout the ITB. Bids received after the bid closing shall not be considered. Confirmation is not provided that a bid has been received in the platform. However, bidders can contact myself. Here's my email and my number, and I will confirm that your bid has been received. Bids shall not be open and announced before the bid opening on Tuesday, January 17th at 10 a.m. And the bid opening will be held via Microsoft Teams. Again, for any further information about the ITB or the possible contract, please reach out and contact myself. And also provided is linked to the current solicitations page. Okay. Highlighted under the bid document sections is the contact information for the architect, the Nozari, excuse me. And there's their email right here. Please reach out for information on drawings and specifications for the project. Highlighted here in the pre-bid conference is information about the pre-bid conference held today. And also further information of examination of the site will be addressed later in this conference. For bidders' questions, please take note that the deadline to receive questions will be December the 16th at 5 p.m. this Friday. You can send your questions to myself, Andre Robinson, or Benaz Nozari. The procurement office will issue written answers to all questions that are timely submitted. Those questions will be answered, and any addenda or information item will be posted on EVA and the Arlington Public Schools website. Okay. Here's information about any addenda that may be issued for the ITB. Again, all addenda will be issued or posted on EVA and on the website. And that is the same for information items. Okay. And just to be clear, anything that will change the ITB or the possible contract will be issued as an addenda. Any questions or information that needs to be posted to clarify the project will be issued as an information item. This will be addressed later, but any addenda posted will need to be acknowledged by the bidder when submitting their bid item. Highlighted in the next section is the submissions of bids. Bids will only be received via online through a link on the Arlington Public Schools webpage. We will not accept any bids through email, mail, or fax. Also addressed here is the date and time for the bid closing. And also within this ITB is the link to submit the ITB, to submit bids for the project. Highlighted below is project descriptions and background, which is a really light summary of the project. So if you have any further questions about the project, you can reach out to Aji. I believe we have Aji here. Are you able to provide any details you would like at this time?
No, I'm here, Brandon. Yeah, if anybody has questions, I'll definitely answer. I don't see any bidders on the call, but I would follow up with those that have we've given those who have asked and asked for the documents if they have any questions, and remind them that they have until Friday to give them to us.
Yep, thank you for that.
Brandon, it appears you are on mute.
Thank you for that, Aji. All right. So the next highlighted section is the negotiation procedures in the event the apparent low bid exceeds available funds. This bid does have a bid alternate. So we will be looking at the total of the base bid and the bid alternate to be under the budget that will be announced at the bid opening. In the case there is not a qualified bidder that can meet both the base bid and the bid alternate, we will look to see who's the lowest qualified bidder with the lowest the lowest total base bid within budget. Please read through the instructions to familiarize yourself with the process of selection. All right. The next section is instructions to bidders. Okay. Next section, failure to comply with mandatory requirements, acknowledges the importance of meeting the standards of the Class 1 mandatory requirements and the Class 2 mandatory requirements. Any Class 1 mandatory requirement will need to be submitted at the time of submission of your bid. Upon follow-up, your Class 2 mandatory requirements will be required. To scroll down to examination of sites. Okay. Again, the site examination will be held today at 11:30. Please reach out to Audrey Robertson for any information on when you can attend. Highlighted in this section is notifying the minimum qualifications of the bidders. We will be reviewing later in this conference and is addressed at Appendix A of the bid form. Please take note of the licensing that is required for this project. Either yourself or your subcontractors must cover these licensing requirements. All bidders are required to have a Virginia Class A contractor's license number. The next section of the ITB is the bid form. Please take note, the bid form must be completed in its entirety. Highlighted in section 9 are the Class 1 mandatory requirements and the Class 2 mandatory requirements. Again, the Class 1 mandatory requirements will be required with your submission of your bid. The Class 2 mandatory requirements may not be submitted with your bids, but will need to be submitted upon request. In section 10 of the bid form, you're required to list your license class, your Virginia contractor license number, and the valid date. Also, please list any classifications and specialty services. At the bid opening, I will be reviewing this information has been provided before reading out your bid tab. If this information is not provided, I will deem your bid non-responsive. In section 11, you will be addressing any addendum that has been issued. This will let us know that you are aware of any changes that has been made for the contract and the ITB. In section 13, we have the bid item 1, which will be the total base bid. Please have that in figures and in writing. For bid item 2, we have the pricing breakdown for the total base bid above. This information is the Class 2 mandatory requirement, so it is not required upon submission of your bid. But we will be requesting this information, so please have it readily to be provided. As I've mentioned, we do have a bid alternate. Please take note of the work required. And then you will be putting the number for your bid below. Please state your SEC identification number in section 15 and provide all information required. Section 17 of the bid form, you will be listing your subcontractors. Please fill out all information requested below in the chart. We will be following up and reviewing their Class A contractor's license. All right, the next section of the bid form is the bidder's qualifications. This section must be completed in its entirety. Take note of the bidder's experience required for this project. We are requiring at least 10 years of experience as a Virginia Class A license. We also require demonstrated performances on relevant projects. Please take notes that we do require 3 projects that involve renovation of the K-12 schools or equivalent. And the projects must meet a minimum of $1,500,000. The projects listed cannot aggregate to the total of $1,500,000. It must be completed within the past 10 years. Again, for any further questions, please provide that to myself and I can follow up on any answers. Also required are qualifications for your project superintendent and the project manager. Please note we required at least 5 years of experience. And we would also require an attached resume. The next section of the ITB is the standard bid bond. The standard bid bond is a class 1 mandatory requirement, so must be filled out and submitted with your bid. Let me go through this section really quick. Pre-standard information that we collect for the standard bid bond. Again, reach out if you have any questions about this section. The next section of the ITB is the agreement between owner and the contractor. This is essentially a draft of the to-be contract. Noted in this section, we do list the contract periods for the project. And if there's any questions, please submit your questions to us by Friday when you're reviewing this agreement. And if you have any issues, we can address that through an addenda or information item if something needs to be updated. Also listed in the agreement is the liquidated damages. In section A of the liquidated damages, we do list the amounts of failure to meet the substantial and final completion dates. Going to go quickly through the next few sections. Mostly, these are standard labor and material payment bonds. This information is class 2, will be required upon request. Sorry, excuse me for the scrolling. Following section is the standard performance bond. This is also a class 2 mandatory requirement. Will need to be received upon request. All right. Following section of the ITB is the general conditions. Again, please familiarize yourself with this section. And if you have any questions or concern, please reach out to us by Friday. I'm gonna scroll through down to page 65. Please take note, we do require the contractor certification regarding criminal convictions to be signed before a contract can be issued. This would be requested upon award. Please take note of what is required for your signature on this document. All right, I want to go down to page 105. Excuse me. Again, you really should familiarize yourself with the general contract or general conditions section, as there is pretty good information about how the process for the contract will be worked out. I do want to focus on the assurance required for the contract. Please take notes of the insurance that are required and the amounts that we are requesting. Again, if you have any questions or concern about the insurances or the amounts, please forward those questions to us by Friday. And those issues may be addressed via addenda of the contract and the ITB, or we will further explain through an information item. For this contract, we do accept umbrella liability insurance. If there are any concerns about that subject. Down to 114. Okay. The next section of the ITB is Appendix 1, which provides screenshots of the steps required for submitting the bids. Again, the bids will only be submitted through the Arlington website. If you have any issues about your submission of your bid or you would like a confirmation, please reach out to myself. And Appendix 2 will give us the COVID-19 instructions. We still do follow certain protocols surrounding COVID-19. So please familiarize yourself with these conditions. And finally, we have Appendix 3, Insurance Coverage Checklist. This checklist summarizes the required insurance for this project. We do require this section to be signed by your insurance agents so they can confirm the assurances that are required can be met upon selection and award. Okay. All right, those are the main parts that our procurement office for Arlington Public Schools would like to review. Are there any questions about the contract at this time? All right, I'm reviewing the Q&A section and there are no questions. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for your interest in working with Arlington Public Schools. Please reach out to the contacts listed in the ITB if you have any questions or concern. And thank you for your time.